being here, Dr. Kakkar, if you can hear me. Right. So, how would you look at this depraved behavior? How is it that anything that you've heard or you have witnessed can be processed by a sane mind?
Okay, see, at the outset, I will say that as a psychologist, my fellow panelists and co-panelists, for them, it is something which is very, very extremely disturbing. But as a psychologist with full responsibility, I can say that this is turning out to be a new normal in a new society that we have started living in. This is not something for me, it is that the little child has been saved, because there are cases in which what I understand is even today, in fact, there's news today that a mother has slit the throat of her son. So I think it's a developing story, but that's come because normally in such cases, the level of depravity is intense, and I can see it every second, third day when people are coming to me, when the couples are coming to me. I can see, and one of the reasons is the judiciary. That aspect is always there, because at the end, people think, well, we don't have no other option. Because if you were to look at the suicide, the Atul Subhash suicide, or that Mr. Khurana, the other chap who committed suicide, that was all because of this. And if you look at Subhash also, I think, yes, Saurabh, sorry. Saurabh was madly in love with this girl. Her name is Muskan. Yes. So Saurabh was madly in love with this girl, Muskan, and that was an unconditional love which Muskan exploited him thoroughly. And what you have just reported, that they were throwing his money was being thrown everywhere, was being used like anything. And that was the thing when such, see, there's a very common thing which is said, the straight nail is hammered first, or the straight tree is chopped first. And that is, unfortunately, that happens in India all the time. And all the crooked people at the end of the day, because they know there are very good lawyers, because they know there are lacuna in our judicial system, that either the cases are going to get delayed or nothing is going to come. In fact, this case may be because, like you mentioned about Nirbhaya, I remember in your news channel also back in 2014, when I was asked this, I said, Nirbhaya, the laws, etc., they are just the baby step. Because today, when somebody goes to a lawyer also, because in this case, it's a full-blown out news. But when people go to the lawyer will say, you don't worry, we will manage things. So unfortunately, in our country, the sensitivity as far as human beings are concerned, human lives are concerned, it is pretty low. And I have seen this from a very close perspective. When I have I had a father to my clinic, and he says for 1 year there was a report by a psychologist on a child custody which was not opened by the lower court, which was Saket Court, and then they had to appeal in the High Court, and from High Court, the High Court was also stunned, and then they told the lower court to at least open that envelope. My point is, when people know they can get away through adjournments, etc., and I have also, in fact, because I understand all this so closely now, I also produced a web series called Black Justice, which basically talks about, as far as the judiciary today is concerned, as far as people today are concerned, they understand that they can exploit anything and they can get away with anything. And that was the reason. Imagine a drug addict, a guy who is psychotic, and a lady. I saw that video where that lady was seamlessly dancing with Saurabh and the child, as if nothing was happening in their life. There was no turmoil. And this is the new normal. You will see the couple today on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, showing full-blown, very nice family pictures. And on the third day, you come to know they go for a divorce, or there's a lot of animosity within them. And that is where the blackmailing, etc., starts. And that is where, see, unless and until, see, behavior comes from the environment. The environment, the responsibility at macro level of giving the environment is from the government, and the government does it through rules, regulation, laws, enforcements, implementations. If those things don't happen, people know they can do anything and get away with anything. So here we are primarily talking about speedy justice, but what about so many such cases which are lying, and every day I can tell you people are committing suicide, they are being murdered, there's a road rage, there's a murder because of parking issues, because they know at the end of the day, the cops are not going to do anything. There's no point calling the cops. There's no point going anywhere else. So the best thing is, let's settle it, and the stronger party wins. So this is the unfortunate part which is happening from since Nirbhaya. So it's been 11 years now, if I'm not wrong. It's been 11 years, but there has been no change. So when we talk about speedy justice, of course, because it's a full-blown news, we will get speedy justice. But what about those cases which have been pending for 10, 5, 7 years from one court to another to the third court, and then nothing happens? And one last thing, in 2012, this is just an example I'm giving to your viewers. In Delhi, the lower court convicted 4 or 5 people where they raped and murdered a young girl. I think she was a minor, or she was around 18 years old. And the High Court also upheld that order. But Supreme Court, it turned that order around, saying there was not enough adequate evidence. Now, when these people, they come out, one of them, within 3 months, he murders the person. Now tell me, what is the fault of that guy who was murdered? The Supreme Court said the evidence is not there. So when you look at the kind of the self-empowerment such people have, that they can get away with it, they can twist because they have the contacts, that is where our society is dying. We may accept it or we may not, that's up to us. But that's the unfortunate part.
Absolutely. I appreciate your thoughts, sir. And this is, a problem that definitely needs to find a solution, and a solution in law at that. We'll appreciate everybody who joined us on the program. Thank you, everyone.